This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition.
Today we got a dishwasher exhaust fan that we're actually replacing. So the customer had called me a while back saying that the dishwasher exhaust fan wasn't working. It's completely locked up. It's just beat down. You'll see here in just a second. We were able to hand lift this one up onto the roof because it's not very heavy. Normally we use a crane, but this one is light, and there was a place at the roof right here, like in this corner right here, where we can be in the corner, and we had two sections to stand on. We're able to pull it up onto the roof. It also helps that I made this little jig right here with just some rope and stuff, so that way you can lift it straight, so that way it stays upright and it's not going crooked the whole way. We'll do the same thing to get the old one down. But yeah, this guy's not even that heavy. We can lift it. So I do have another tech with me here today though. So we're gonna get this pulled over to where the dish fan belongs, and we're gonna get the other one unhooked and this one hooked up. You can see that when I sized the fan, I wrote the information right here. Fan curb 20 by 20, roof curb 19.5 square. This was so we could order a new fan. So we're gonna go ahead and open this one up. It's not the powder coated version or whatever, but really don't see the point in that because these fans don't last that long at all. So we're gonna have to do some work because the new fan didn't come with the box and stuff. So we got to open this up, and we still got to get power disconnected, and then we'll set this fan where this one goes basically. All right, this is a dishwasher exhaust fan. The dishwasher exhaust fan is controlled via the dishwasher. This particular one, I believe there's a contactor in the dishwasher. Whenever it turns on, the contactor pulls in, sends power up here. So therefore, we're not going to have power until they turn the dishwasher on. But we need to isolate power and shut it off because we've got to get this conduit out, and prefer not to do it live if I don't have to. So I was able to safely move this. I took this box off because it was mounted to the side of the motor, and I've got Wagos on the two wires, and we've got a meter in there. So I'm going to be able to go downstairs, energize the dishwasher, then find the circuit breaker, and I have another technician up here that'll tell me when power is energized and then when power is off. So we're all staged and ready to go, and then I'm gonna go downstairs and do the testing that I need to do down at the breaker panels and at the dishwasher. I did a video a couple years ago and everybody freaked out because I wired in a receptacle to a hot circuit, and they were like, why didn't I just install the exhaust fan because I had the wires already loose, whatever. And it's because I still got to pull the wires down through a chase, and I don't want to do that live if I don't have to. So in this situation, none of the breakers are labeled. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go downstairs and we are going to turn this on. That's going to energize. We've got the circuit tracer right here, and we're going to go try to find it. Now, this isn't the best circuit tracer in the world, but it's what I have, and I don't use them that often, so it's not really worth it to me. Now, I know a lot of people say, you can buy a kit for this. Mine didn't come with the kit. I bought the cheap one. I bought whatever was available. Maybe one day I'll order the kit so that way it has alligator clamps or whatever, but this works perfect. A Wago connector is actually pretty safe, right? So I'm gonna go downstairs and try to find it, and then we'll turn it on and turn it off and do all that good stuff. All right, so yes, I know everybody says you need to test the panel first, of which I did in my last video. It was just a short form video, so you couldn't see it. Let's go right here. And what we do is we come down right here, and it's actually identifying it right there. 13. I've already confirmed that's it. Power's off. Interestingly enough, this thing gives you a lot of false readings, because earlier I was getting a reading over here too. So now granted, I know I just did the whole panel, but like, you get these weird false readings. This one's not showing red right now, but it was earlier, and it's like, I think because they cross neutrals somewhere. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of these. And again, I know that you're supposed to run the entire panel first, right? And then go through. Look at, this is what I'm talking about. You get these weird false readings, but we already know, and I've confirmed with my technician, that power's off, okay? That's why I mentioned that these things are a little inaccurate, and you always got to double check, okay? Because you're just getting these weird things, like it comes and goes. It's not doing the red thing anymore. Now, out of curiosity, when I turn the power on at the one that I know it is, I wonder if this does that red thing again. No, it doesn't. But my thought is that they just have a neutral cross somewhere. So we're gonna lock that out, and then we'll head up top and get it changed out. We got the fan affixed. We're just doing some electrical right here. We're just gonna use SJ cord. There was no ground. They had some wires right here. There's no spot for a ground, but but all I did was pull this screw. There's a 1/4-inch screw right here. Pulled it out, put the ground behind it, and then ran that in. So that's our ground for inside the motor. We're gonna get the cover put on, and then we'll get it wired into the speed controller and get that switch or handy box, you know, screwed down to the bottom of the fan. That rheostat / speed controller is going to be our hood switch for it because it does have an off position. All right, this guy is up and running. We're running right at 3.5 amps. We're set to high speed so we can adjust it accordingly. I ended up hooking it up to the low speed wire because this is a 2-speed motor, because at 3.5 or wherever it was running, it was slightly over amps. It was allowed to run 3.2. So I actually hooked it up to the low speed, and it's under current now, so it's much better that way. So we're all wired in. It's not gonna win a beauty contest, but it's functional. We're working with what they already have. We are gonna have to talk to them though, because the ductwork down below is rotted out, and we're gonna have to get them to replace that eventually. But for now, we got the fan up and running, so that's gonna alleviate the high temperatures in their dishwasher area significantly. All right, I went in and labeled it for the next guy, panel P, breaker number 13. Also wrote it right here. This is our install thing. We get the fan from panel P, number 13. So this fan is shut off because they shut their dishwasher off. We have to actuate it. It doesn't run all day. It only runs when the dishwasher runs. So we are secured and good to go. And yeah, we're gonna talk to the customer about replacing the ductwork down below, but for now, this is pretty darn good. And we look at our dishwasher. This is what we call the pants. It goes to a single duct that's 12 inches by 12 inches OD. And then you can see it's just corroded going up. So we'll replace all of that. We'll get all the information to the customer. They'll approve it right away, but that won't be part of this video. Yeah. And all is well. So we'll get all that going. At least it's something. The attic's all nasty too. It's all like gross and moldy up there because that fan wasn't working. So we had to get the fan running. I suspected that we'd have ductwork, but we didn't pull the fan because it was still energized and we didn't know where the breaker was. We didn't want to trip anything. So we knew that when we got in here, we'd have to get it running and then potentially have to do some ductwork renovations. In a perfect world, that all gets done with stainless steel, but they don't want that. They're just going to want us to go back with galvanized. And, you know, they just have to replace it every 10 years, basically. That's just what they want me to do. So that's what we will do. When we're doing these jobs, we have to remember to slow down. It's so important to understand that sometimes by slowing down, you speed up, okay? What I mean by that is if you slow down and you stop, you look at the big picture and you think about it, you can get to the end result oftentimes more efficiently and with a better end result, and sometimes faster, okay? It's really easy to rush your way through a job and realize that you skip steps, and then in correcting your mistakes, you end up spending way more time than if you would have just really thought out methodically the job, planned it out, and then executed, okay? Taking a step back and looking at the big picture, which is what I've always kind of preached in my videos, is just my way of combating all the mistakes that I've made in my career. I realized through experience that a good majority of the mistakes that I've made was simply because I wasn't taking the time to do something right. I was trying to rush through a job for whatever reason, super busy, whatever it may be, but I was sick of the callbacks. I was sick of not knowing how to do things and making mistakes. And so I decided to start slowing down and look at the big picture. And I felt that my career progressed when I started doing that. Okay. So this was just a simple dishwasher exhaust, but again, methodically thinking it through. Like for instance, we decided to rope it up onto the roof because I had a safe situation. Now, I'm very cautious about roping things because I don't like people leaning over the edge of a building or anything like that. But in this situation, I felt very safe in the way that I did it. And I was capable of getting that exhaust fan up to the roof without scraping the whole side of the building, going up or going down. Okay, that's the really important thing. The last thing I need to do is have to pay a painter to come out and repaint and fix stucco on the side of that building because, you know, I drug the exhaust fan up the whole side of the building without being thorough and paying attention, right? So again, it's all about planning out and thinking. Now, in certain situations, I'll use a crane. But in this situation, I was able to safely rope it up because it's a very light exhaust fan. So we did the install, and in doing the install, when I pulled the exhaust fan, I happened to notice that the ductwork looked like it was rotted out. So
we went ahead and went downstairs. At the end of the video, you saw and addressed that, yeah, they have a lot of gaping holes in the ductwork going up to the exhaust fan. Now, it's still working, but it's not working as efficiently as it should be. So we are going to correct that. But that wasn't part of this quote. This quote was simply just to change an exhaust fan. So we completed this one, and then we brought it to the customer's attention. It's so important to open your eyes and observe using your senses and let the customer know of your findings. This job is very, very easy to find broken things. And what I mean by that is we don't have to use high pressure sales tactics or anything. We just observe and can bring this stuff up to the customer, and then they can choose whether or not they want to fix it, okay? They're not always going to say yes, you know, who knows? I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Thank you so very much. Leave me some feedback down in the YouTube comments. Let me know what you think. If you want to shoot me an email, hvacrvideos@gmail.com, feel free. You can shoot me, you know, communicate with me through that way. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I've talked about it many times. The easiest way to support this channel is literally just watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. But if you want to monetarily support it, you can do it via PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships, which are all just monthly ways that you can make a financial commitment to the channel. Totally up to you, no pressure on that, but there's links in the show notes if you want to do that. You can also support the channel by going to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise available, hats, beanies, stickers. We still have some shirts. And you know, a lot of people don't realize that we have women's fit t-shirts too, that are kind of like a smaller fit for women, a V-neck. They're actually really nice. I guess we should probably do a better job of promoting those, because I think we still have a ton of those women's shirts. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But again, that's hvacrvideos.com. You can also go to, if you're interested in doing so, truetechtools.com, where I have an affiliate program set up with them. If you use my affiliate link, big picture, one word, at checkout, you can get a nice discount on majority of the items on their website. There's a few things that the discount doesn't apply to, but for the most part, you can get it. And I get a good amount of my tools from truetechtools.com. So when you're seeing me use the Fieldpiece SC480 meter in here, that was from TrueTech Tools. You know, just check it out. They got a lot of cool stuff. There's some really cool people over there. So again, truetechtools.com, and my affiliate code is big picture, one word. Okay. I think that's everything. I have to remind myself sometimes. We talked about the website. We talked about watching the videos from beginning to end. We talked about TrueTech. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And that's it. Appreciate you so much. And we will catch you on the next one.